to Death and Aliens, an in-depth look at horror and sci-fi TV from two friends who vaguely know what they're doing. I'm MK.
And I'm Courtney.
And Courtney, how are you?
I am okay. Um, I have been having an existential crisis for a while.
Your
But I
entire existence? What?
right, but like worse lately.
Oh, okay, cool.
I realize it's because it's been a year since I moved back.
Mm,
And I realized this all yesterday because I was moving from Manhattan to New Jersey on Easter, which Easter was like 2 weeks early last year.
yeah.
But like, or 2 weeks earlier, this was a late Easter. Um, but like last Easter, everybody was like, "Were you here for Easter? What did you do?" And I was like, "Oh, right. I was literally up at 3 a.m. until 1 a.m. because I had to be out of my apartment. I was supposed to be out of my apartment by midnight, but I left by 1.
Yeah.
Um, Driving all of my things from Manhattan to New Jersey, and I didn't have Easter. I think I had Wendy's. Like it was not an Easter
No.
to remember. And so that means it's been over a year since I've been at my job, and it's been over a year since I've been back in Louisiana. It's been a really wild week. It's a good thing I'm back in therapy, but yeah, it's been a lot to deal with. So I'm struggling every day, but I'm making it. Um, but yeah, so I'm okay. I'm hanging in there and thinking about, you know, I guess next steps. I said after a year I'd start kind of reevaluating again. Here we are.
Here
I
we
do
are.
still have to take the bar. Does feel like a post-bar problem, but I mean I'm here till December. I have a lease now, but
Yeah.
till at least December. Could be longer, but till at least December.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, so I've been having an existential crisis and preparing for Rachel to have a baby. But on a positive note, I mean, babies are positive. They're good. They're
Yeah.
fine. I got new stickers for my cup today
Perfect. Yes.
because sometimes that's what you need.
Correct.
So I already had this sticker that my new favorite coffee shop Scooters gave
Yeah.
me. I went to Scooters one day and I was like, I need to use this coupon for buy one, get one. But you can't order on the app when you use certain coupons. So I had to like give them the coupon. And then I was like, I also have this. I need you to stamp for my like free drink. And I also need you to stamp this. And so like I handed them and my card. And then I was like, I need you to scan and I need to give you my card. It was a whole situation.
Yeah.
And then the last thing they did was hand me the sticker. And I was like, they're sick of me and this is their way of sending me off. But so I got this lovely sticker that just says it's because Caramelicious is like one of their top drinks. So I'm in the
Yeah.
Caramelicious Club. So then I was at Aunt Rachel's office today talking about how I need more stickers for my cup because I've never stickered anything before. So
Yeah.
today is a new day for me.
Yeah.
And so as a psychologist, she has all these nice mental health stickers.
Yeah.
And so she has this one that says mental health matters and it's got a little open book with flowers. And I was like, that is so
Beautiful.
cute. And she has this whole pack and we're going through them all. And then I found the best mental health sticker in the stack. And it just says nothing matters. And I was like, she
Listen,
was like, these are from Sheen. I don't think that that's a mental health sticker.
no, I mean, my work computer has a sticker that says it's okay to fall apart. Tacos do it all the time and we still love them.
Mhm, mhm. Yeah, I'm glad she didn't give that to any of her patients, I
Patience?
guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I was like, it's like a pick your mood day, like mental health matters or nothing
Nothing
matters.
matters.
It just
Yeah.
depends on how you feel that day. So I guess
Perfect.
like mental health matters today. It's
Good.
very
Good, good,
important.
good.
So how are you?
I am okay. I'm also having a little bit of an existential crisis
Excellent.
because last week we had the movers finally bring all my furniture here, and they were very kind and very efficient, and they also brought every single thing of mine that was in my parents' garage, and it's now in my garage. But that means that I can't pretend that it doesn't exist anymore and that it
Sure.
is in a different county, and I now actually have to like start addressing the fact that I have lived out of boxes for the last 6 years
Mhm,
or
mhm,
longer,
mhm.
and do something
Yeah.
about it. So I subscribe to Stitch Fix instead.
Perfect. Yeah. I subscribed to Book of the Month. See, this is how you do this. We
And as
are
and as I open my Stitch Fix box to try everything on, Dan goes, "How many of those like boxes do you get every month? Like, what do you?" And I was like, "He's like, how many of those subscriptions do you have?" I go, "Oh, only three. Only three. Yeah, that's fine, right?
You have Stitch Fix, FabFitFun, and Ipsy?
Yeah.
Hmm. I only have Ipsy. I would like to get FabFitFun again. I only have Ipsy and Book of the Month now, but I'm probably gonna cancel. I got a free month. I do editing for Rachel, and it just popped up one of the edits that I missed because I didn't know it was a word.
Mhm.
And so she was laughing at me. But yeah, so I probably will cancel it because it was like if you come back to Book of the Month, your first month is free, and I was like, great, I get a free book, so I'll probably cancel it after. But
Well, I
you
did
know,
Stitch Fix because it's like the first month the styling fee is free, and obviously like if you don't buy anything, then you don't buy anything or whatever. And I was like, okay, like so I'm really if it sucks and I hate it, I'm not paying anything, actually.
right, right,
But then I loved
everything.
everything.
Yeah, that's my concern every time.
And I was like, and like I got out of a jumpsuit, like a floral jumper, and I wore it for Easter yesterday, and everyone I saw all day complimented me. And I was like,
Right? I used to have a floral jumpsuit that, or like it was like a short one though, and like
mm.
a long one, but it was
Oh
like an
yeah,
off the shoulder. And I used to wear it to Smorgasburg and Prospect Park all the time.
so great. Yeah. But yeah, so I'm like just existing, hoping that I don't like crash. And because I basically did nothing over spring break and I really had so many plans and goals, but then I figured out that like when you take 3 months without a break, you fucking
Hmm.
crash.
Hmm.
And
Isn't
I,
it called crashing out now? Is that a
yeah,
new, that's a
yeah.
new term, right?
Well, okay, but crashing out is like when you're so angry that you lose it. Like when you crash out, it's like when
Oh,
yeah, like it's
I've been
like
using that wrong.
yeah, to crash out is like when things are like so bad you cannot fucking like deal with it anymore. Like if people are getting on your nerves, if you're really angry, like you can emotionally crash out, like mentally, but it's not the same. Like when somebody's like, "Oh, I'm about to crash out," they're
Hmm.
gonna fight you.
I have been saying I'm crashing out a lot lately. That is not what I
Mhm.
meant, it seems.
Yeah, no, like I was teaching, like I was like, "Yo, Romeo and Juliet." Like Romeo just found out that Juliet's dead. Nobody told him. He's sitting here in this other town. He's about to be poisoned. He's about to crash out. Like
Mm.
that.
Yeah. Yeah, that's not where I am, but I have said it only to people older than me, I think.
Yeah, so they don't know what
And
you're talking about
Rachel,
anyway.
so they don't
Yeah.
know what I'm
They
talking
don't know
about
what you're talking about
anyways.
anyway.
Yeah, it's fine.
I spend all of my days with 13 to 17 year
Hmm.
olds, and so I have to know the slang correctly.
I gotta start running things by you before I start saying them to people. Make sure I'm not just like starting fights with people. I don't know. Who's to
Well,
say?
I mean, if you want to start a fight, you could always just end it with some words of
I
encouragement.
could. All the people I work with are like 24, so like I might accidentally start fights and not know
Mm.
it. Let's see.
I mean, honestly, they deserve it though, probably.
Girl, you're telling me they every day they do. Okay. Every problem, every dilemma, every dead end we find ourselves facing in life only appears unsolvable inside a particular frame or point of view. Enlarge the box or create another frame around the data, and problems vanish while new opportunities appear. Rosamund and Benjamin Zander.
Mm. I like it.
I like it too. I don't know who those people are.
Me either.
Hmm. What a time to be alive.
Well, speaking of a time to be alive, we are watching Stargate SG-1 Season 7, Episode 17, Heroes Part 1. It was rated 7.9 stars.
7.9, is that what you just said?
Yeah. Um, yeah, that's fine.
Yeah,
I
that's fine. I agree.
I have strong feelings about this episode. One, because I know what the part two is, which makes it different.
Mm,
But also I have one thing in particular that makes me feel very strongly about this episode that I will talk about at the end. Because
okay.
but it's a weird thing to feel strongly about, I think. Um, it came out on February 13th, 2004. The number one song is finally new. Um, However, since the last 6 weeks have been Hey Ya by Outkast, I was quite
God,
amused
it's time.
to find out that the number one song this day was The Way You Move by Outkast. Apparently in 2004 we did not listen to anything
We
that was
just
not
listened to
Outkast.
Outcast.
Um, we have the same book, still Da Vinci Code, but I do think this is the last week of Da Vinci Code. I think next week we're moving on.
Oh,
Um,
that's a bummer.
yeah. I mean, only not really. It's been the number one book for like the last 40 episodes of the podcast.
Yeah, but it's such a great book.
Yeah. The number one movie, though, speaking of great, the number one movie is one of my favorite movies of all time ever. That I did force Dan to watch. Um, I think he didn't hate it as much as most guys would. It is 50 First Dates.
God, I love that. It was such a good movie.
Such a good movie.
Ugh.
Um, all of the news was about like Middle Eastern and Russian political scheming. So like nothing has changed in 20 years. So I didn't
Right.
write anything. But on this day, Angel was officially canceled.
Totally forgot about that show. I still haven't watched Buffy the Vampire Slayer. That is another universe I'm ready to get into.
Yeah, Buffy is
But
great. Angel, I'm obsessed with Dave Boreanaz. I have been
it's a
my like
gem.
whole life. His dad was friends with my Uncle Louis. And by my Uncle Louis, I mean Uncle Louis owns a restaurant here in Buffalo that I am by no means related to any of them, but my great grandma was one of the first like waitresses to work at the restaurant when he opened it. And so we all call his family my family, and he was best friends with David Boreanaz, his dad. So like I pretend that I am like tangentially related to him.
Yeah.
I'm not at all. He talks to Mary Beth all the time, Louis' actual child, but not me. That's fine.
One day, maybe.
Well, maybe. Um, But yes, so I a big Angel fan because of that.
I love that. Have you watched like Buffy and Angel and
Yeah,
all that? I have not. Am I gonna love it?
yeah,
I think I'm gonna love it.
yeah.
One day I'm gonna rabbit hole that.
It was this episode was directed by Andy Makita, written by Robert C. Cooper, and edited by Eric Hill.
I thought you said Aaron Doyer, like a name, and I was like, that's not it. That's not
No,
a name.
no, no, no.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah.
Our guest star, Saul Rubinek. Um, have you seen Saul Rubinek before?
Yes, but I don't know why.
Okay. So Saul
But it doesn't
Rubinek
look him up
is
either.
known for Unforgiven, True Romance, and The Ballad of Buster Scruggs. Um,
Okay.
he's he's basically been in one episode of every single show that has ever existed, but he's the main character in the sci-fi show Warehouse 13, which
I've
I
heard of that, but not seen it.
absolutely love. And one of my favorite roles of his is the 15 episode arc that he had in Frasier, where he played
Hmm.
Daphne's fiance, who was also Niles's divorce attorney, which made things
Yes.
real.
Yes, yes, yes.
Yes,
He was also in Marvelous Miss Maisel, so I've definitely seen him in both of
yes,
those things.
yes. Um, he is one of the most fascinating people ever. He was born in a refugee camp in Germany in 1948, where his father ran a Yiddish repertory theater company. Um,
That is so wild.
Yeah. So he moved to Canada shortly after and basically became a child actor. By the time he was 20, he was a member of the Stratford Shakespeare Festival Company in Stratford, Ontario, which, if you can't make it to London and you want to see a Shakespeare festival, that is the place to go. It is phenomenal. I've seen
Mm.
amazing things there. I also almost got attacked by a swan there, but that's totally different because I was like 13 and
Unrelated.
I was 13 last time I was there and I really wanted to touch the swan because I'm a fucking idiot, but
Oh,
that's
sure. Yeah.
um but then he founded three of his own like theater repertory companies across Ontario. Um, he wrote a book called So Many Miracles about his parents' lives, escaping, like living in Poland and being part of refugee camps and surviving the Nazis and everything, which um
It's insane. Yeah.
also he's currently touring Canada in a one-act play called Playing Shylock, where the premise of this play is that a Jewish man gets cast to play Shylock in The Merchant of Venice, and then halfway through the show gets canceled because of the anti-Semitism. Um,
Oh,
and so
yeah.
it's like a
I've heard
really
of this. I've heard of this.
yeah. But one of the reasons he did this is because he's basically playing a version of himself in this play because he did play Shylock in Merchant of Venice, which is a very interesting thing because very rarely do Jews actually get cast in this role, despite it being one of the most famous Jewish roles
Yeah.
in the world. And his dad, who obviously ran a theater company and used theater to survive the Nazis, always wanted to play it and never got to.
That's so sweet.
So I'm obsessed with Saul Rubinek. I love him.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah. Um, so we I have I just also say I have a couple things of trivia for this episode. But I don't actually know if they matter. Because
Okay.
it's a two-parter episode, I don't know if they're relevant to this. They're not
Hmm.
spoilers, but I don't know if they're relevant to this part of it.
I
So,
see, I see. Yeah.
yeah. So we start the episode with a camera crew getting some film shots of the Stargate when the public affairs liaison for the base comes in and says they can't shoot anything until General Hammond briefs them. Um, so Emmett Bergman, Saul Rubinek's character, our fearless director of this
Jesus
documentary,
Christ. Yeah.
he goes to meet Hammond, and Hammond tells him that Emmett is going to find people less than cooperative and that he is going to follow his orders to the letter. And anything that the Pentagon did not say he had to do, he will not be doing.
He's not doing it, yeah.
Um, I fucking love Emmett's dialogue in the Hammond scenes because I think while he's annoying, I kind of love where he's coming from. Because he insists that like this will be good for not only the program but for the American people, and he's going off about the fact that there were cameras on the beaches of Normandy, and we have
Mhm.
war journalists on the field all the time, and this is not a new situation. And to have something this important to science and military in the country just be shut off from cameras is a
Yeah.
disservice to like the people. And I
Which
was
is
like, and I was like,
fair.
this man is clearly not a director of documentaries because it pays the big bucks. Like,
Right.
this is the guy who's like a documentarian because he wants to fucking tell the truth. Like,
Right.
and I was like, okay, okay. And then we get the credits. Um, so after the credits, Colonel Randall, who is our public affairs liaison, tries to explain to Emmett that his best approach is going to be to like let the story tell itself, to warm himself up to people, to just kind of like exist on the base and get people
Right.
comfortable and not like guerrilla journalism them.
Hmm.
And Emmett's like, sure, yeah, I'm gonna let that happen because
Yeah,
if
absolutely.
the story was gonna tell itself, we'd already fucking know about it. So like that's not gonna happen. So Jack walks by and is characteristically hostile.
It's my favorite part. Okay. My favorite part of this episode.
Also, I am obsessed with the fact that he said his favorite color was peridot. Like, what? Whose
He's so
favorite
insane.
whose favorite color is peridot? That's one of the ugliest shades of green ever.
Yeah, no, it's not great. I don't love it.
Um, but so Sam sits down for the interview, and she's like the only one who like seems to want to like be a part of this interview. But that also is pretty characteristic because Sam's like, if the science is going to be out there, I want people to understand the science. I love the science.
Right.
Science is wonderful, and she's very sweet but very awkward. Um,
She's so awkward.
then we see Emmett trying to interview Daniel about dying, which this might be one of my favorite scenes because him trying to understand what Daniel like did or went through just
Right.
absolutely wild. But while this is happening, Daniel gets a page and takes off down the hallway, and Emmett and the film crew like chase him. And Daniel turns out just checking a fax about a lab result for an artifact, and Emmett's like, "The fuck just happened?" And he goes, "I just wanted to see if you would chase me."
The nonsense that they put this guy through
Oh
is, oh
yeah.
my gosh.
Once we get into the actual story of the episode, it's a little different, but like the beginning
Right.
where we're just setting up this documentary is just
Unhinged.
unhinged. Next person up on the docket for the documentary is Dr. Lee, and he's explaining the vest that he's making to resist staff weapons, and then they do like a test demonstration, and and it's like, let me try. And he's like, no, that's probably a really bad idea. But he's like, but they're totally safe. They're totally safe. But and so then they test them on Siler, who gets knocked out basically.
Hmm.
And my favorite is like he's like, "Don't worry, he does this all the time." That line is probably my favorite line in the entire episode, purely because Dan Shay is the stunt coordinator and the stunt double for most of the people on the show. So
Oh,
him getting shot and falling back into the wall actually happens all the time.
that's so funny.
Yeah, he's Richard
I
Dean
love
Anderson's
that.
stunt double.
I
And
love
he's
it.
the series stunt coordinator.
That's so cute. Okay, good.
um,
That was good. I like
yeah.
that.
So then we have another time Sam being interviewed. She's explaining the power of the gate, which is as boring to Emmett as you would think.
Hmm. Hmm.
Um, and he wants a shot of the gate actually spinning, but Harriman is like, no, there's a team about to leave. Like, you have to clear the gate room. Um,
Is this when he does the whole interview with Harriman?
no, not yet. This is when we meet SG-13. And
Mm-hmm.
SG-13 is going out on a mission. They're going on, and we have a really like extended scene of them like going out on this mission and they're like chatting and they're talking and they're making bets about what they're going to find on the planet. And they're talking about the one guy's wife is pregnant. And so the other guy's talking about how like annoying his four children are and how it's the worst thing in the world to have children. And it is like really weirdly out of place,
Yeah.
but it is contributes to why I rank this episode very importantly in the theoretical canon of Stargate. And we'll get to that at the end. So, but then they stumble on the ruins of an ancient city, and the science kid wins the bet, which is apparently not a thing that happens very often. Um, so then we have a really cute scene where Sam and Jack are talking about their experiences with the documentary, and Jack's like, "Yeah, I did my interview," and Sam just goes, "Mary Steenburgen," and he's like, "What? She's hot."
That is, oh my gosh, he's so insane
Jack's
this whole
obsession with
episode.
Mary Steenburgen is my favorite, one of my favorite running gags of the entire show.
I love it.
Um, so Emmett is asking Daniel more questions, but he's not very helpful. But to be fair, it's because he's asking him questions about the things that he quite literally had his memory erased. He's like,
Yeah, like
I
you
genuinely
can't do
don't.
anything
He's like,
about
even if
this.
I wanted to answer your questions, I genuinely don't know.
Yeah.
um, Then SG-13 determines that the city was built by the ancients, and so the science kid, who I really don't remember his name, gets. Oh, and the science kid. Oh, I skipped. Oh, I skipped a scene. Um, I skipped Emmett interviewing Teal'c.
Oh.
Yeah, Teal'c is not a fan
Because
at
there weren't a
all.
lot of words said
There were not
right
a lot of
to him.
words said in that scene. He basically says he's only there because Hammond said he had to be, and that he does not want to answer any questions. Um, Then the SG-13 determines that the city was built by ancients. They want to keep exploring, and the science kid is going around and he gets followed by a drone that starts attacking them. So they collapse an entire wall to break the drone and destroy it. Um, then we flash to Senator Kinsey getting interviewed for the documentary.
Man, I hate
It's
this
he's
man.
the only one who has anything to say so far,
Mhm.
but Emmett's still not happy because it clearly sounds like a prepared speech because it is.
Because he's a politician.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then Senator Kinsey goes to talk to Jack, and Jack's basically like, "Why are you even fucking here, dude?" Um, and basically we find out that Senator Kinsey is campaigning for president, and he is using this as part of his propaganda, like campaign stuff, to be a
I hate
part
him
of the
so
Stargate
much.
program. And Jack's like, "You literally tried to get us shut down." He's like, "No,
Yeah,
no, I didn't." Um,
you for sure did.
and so Jack makes sure the camera's rolling and starts to rip Kinsey a fucking new one. And before he says enough to get court-martialed, the gate is activated for an unscheduled off-world activation, and he is directly requested
Yep.
to the gate room. Luckily, he's directly requested because Hammond decided to save him from Kinsey, which is
Mhm.
nice. But SG-13 calls and they're requesting to stay for a little bit to keep working, but they are sending the drone back for tests. and getting a UAV out there to get aerial footage of the ancient ruins. Emmett is very unhappy because he has no wiggle room, and he's complaining to Hammond about the fact that he's not going to be able to make a documentary because they won't let him do anything. And Hammond is like, the Pentagon and I both disagree with you. So, I don't really know what you want. He was like, how am I supposed to, like, if every time something happens, you shut me out, how can I make a documentary? And he's like, well, things that are just happening now haven't been approved by the Pentagon. Sorry. Um,
Told him fall into the letter of the law.
yep. And so the red phone rings, and Hammond's like, okay, you can leave now. Um,
Mhm.
uh, So Sam is testing the drone, and she and Teal'c have never seen this kind of technology, but Teal'c thinks the Goa'uld might have stolen the idea of a Melp from the SG teams and like directly made this because of them. So like one more thing to feel guilty about. Um, but Teal'c and Sam are discussing the documentary, and he does not really like it, and Sam just says that it makes her really nervous. Don't
She
worry,
is such a bad
it
interviewee.
will get worse. The secondhand embarrassment from Sam for this episode just gets worse every time she opens
It
her
just
mouth.
gets worse.
Um, Emmett is still throwing a fit about the whole thing, and how a documentary shouldn't be censored, and how they don't censor. Oh, and what's it called? Colonel Randall is like, they do censor news reporters on the field in battle. And he's like, yeah, but that's on the news. That's actively happening right now. This documentary won't come out for months. We can just cut things out if they're not allowed to be in there. It's easier to have more and cut it than it is to have fucking nothing.
No.
Nah, Jack continues to tell them, he said, I hope my ass looks good. Basically. Um,
Mm.
then they interview Sam about Jack, and this is the worst scene of the whole episode. She's like, there's not, I don't know what you're talking about. We are just
Mhm.
professional. And he's like, really? Like, you guys like aren't even like friends? You like almost died together all the time. There's like not even like friends outside of work. And she's like, no, like we don't date. What?
Bless her heart.
Samantha. Um, then he interviews Harriman.
This is my favorite interview.
And Harriman's like, this is my job. I press this button and I say this thing and I put my hand here. And he's like, everybody just really loves me. They just feel really good that there's a person on the other end. It is.
We're really needed. There could be a robot that does this job, but it's not the same as the human on the other end.
No,
We're really needed.
it is the most wholesome thing in the entire world, and Emma just does not
And
give a shit.
I know he's like, I have so much pride in my job, and I
He's
just like
like,
really feel good about what I
and he's like,
do.
that's all you do? Yeah.
It was so
Um,
funny.
then Emmett decides to be a real douche, and he goes to Daniel and he's like, hey, so you know how you have a camera and you take like lots of footage? Um, maybe take a footage of like the battle instead of just like the objects. And Daniel goes, during a battle, I'm usually trying not to die, not really thinking about the
Right. Usually a
camera.
little bit busy.
Um, uh, so Daniel goes to complain to Sam about the fact that this documentary is, and this is an important fact, because I think sometimes we forget about the real time of the show. We're about to end the seventh season of the show, so 7 years of the Stargate program, which means presidents, presidents in the US don't last more than 8 years.
No. Oh no.
Um,
Oh no.
and so the president who approved this program, who's been working with Hammond, is on his way out of the office. The president, the Daniel says that this documentary is just political posturing. It entirely is. The president is trying to make this documentary so that when he's not in office anymore, he's still in control of how and when people find out about the Stargate program. Because the next guy coming in,
Is Ken
I mean,
asleep?
well, we don't know that. Probably, but we don't know that. But I mean, think about it. How long after Trump got in office that he was he like, all these FBI files, I'm releasing them?
Yeah.
Like, the next guy who comes in could be like, hey, on my first day as president, this is what the government's been lying to you about for the last 8 years.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Not really gonna go well for the president. So he's like,
Sure.
we're gonna make this documentary. So obviously, they know that that's true. So that
All
makes
right.
them even less want to be a part of it. Um,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
but while they're bitching about the thing, they also translate some information from the drone. And they find out that the drone, as soon as it encountered SG-13, sent out long range communication, which means that their position has been sent to someone. So Sergeant Dixon, um, who is played by Adam Baldwin from Chuck. Um,
I watched most of Chuck.
Chuck. So Adam Baldwin is the guy.
Ah, yes, yes, yes. That's
Yes,
why I recognized him. I was like, we
yes.
haven't talked about him yet, have we?
No, this is the first episode he's been in. But I talked about Saul Rubinek instead. So maybe
Have
I'll.
we not had him in anything? I feel like he's in everything.
Yeah, but we have not talked about him yet. We also don't do much modern stuff.
That's true. That's true.
So Dixon is ordered to bring the team home since the Goa'uld know that they're there. But before they can get out, they start taking fire. Um, then we go back to Emmett, and he's interviewing Janet about Jack's medical record and about her job in general. And Janet is just the most sweetest, beautiful, amazing, like
I
human. Like
know.
this
Ugh,
interview, when she was like, no, like we learn more every day about who we are and where we came from and what that means. And like, yes, sometimes all I'm doing is like fixing broken bones. And sometimes I'm doing crazy things that I do not understand and I feel 100% out of my depth, but every day I'm a part of something.
she's the best.
She's the best. And Emmett also thinks so because
He
he
sure does.
asks her if she'll go get lunch with him.
Which is adorable.
Um, we find out that Wells, the guy who was shot in the attack by the Goa'uld, can't be moved. So Hammond sends Jack with SGs 5 and 7 to take out the Goa'uld ambush and also get Wells and SG-13 back. And SG-3 is also there. They sent SG-3 already to guard the gate. So SGs 3 and 13 are already there. They're sending 1, 5, and 7 to go get the rest of this rescue. And they're also sending Janet because if Wells can't be moved, he may need to be treated in the field.
Do we only have odd number SG teams?
No. But I think the even number ones are the weird ones. Like I think all the airmen are the odd numbers because like we know how we have like one Marine that we like crew that we like
Mm-hmm.
sometimes randomly mention, and then
Mm-hmm.
like there's the one Russian crew. Like I think the odd
Sure.
numbers are the airmen, and I think the even numbers are all the fucking weird ones.
Gotcha,
But
gotcha,
but
gotcha.
Kowalski was on SG-2.
Oh, that's right. I was thinking he was on SG-3.
No, so they're yeah. So
Gotcha.
um
Okay. Okay.
but yeah, it is that they usually 3, 5, 7, 13 are the ones they usually use as their
Yeah.
backup. And so Emmett is smitten with Janet and they're chatting and they're having a really cute lunch and they're flirting and they're talking about Cassandra and it's really sweet. And then she gets taken away to go to the base and everyone is getting ready to go and they're all in gear and Daniel and Sam are blaming themselves for the ambush. And then we get it to be continued.
That
So
felt like it felt like a short episode. I think it was because it was so like fun and jumpy.
yeah. So,
But like
and I will tell you that's actually part of one of the trivia. So this episode was not supposed to be a two-parter. It was
okay.
originally written as a single episode. However, because of the documentary style and the dialogue, once they timed out all of the dialogue, just the dialogue was more than a single episode. And instead of doing what some people do where they just say, "Okay, what can we cut?" they added two more sequences to time things out a little bit better and make it a two-parter because they didn't want to get
That's
rid of the dialogue, which I'm so glad about
me too. I
because
really liked it.
I
Yeah.
really liked it. I think it did feel a little bit short because it was so jumpy, but I didn't hate the timing. And I think that the thing that it let us do, which is why I love this episode, is we got to experience another SG team.
Mhm.
And I think that's really important because what I said to Dan when we finished this episode is this episode shows definitively that this SGC reaction to a team being ambushed is not singularly SG-1.
Yeah.
Because there are so many times in the show where it feels like if it wasn't Jack and Sam, they wouldn't be putting this much effort in. We've even
Right.
talked about the fact that do they really try to rescue the other teams as often as they
Mhm.
rescue SG-1? And this episode is like a really good tribute to say, but they do. Like, this is what it's like.
Right.
That the whole base is a family, it's not just one team. And
Mhm.
I personally, because I love the characters and I love the emotional connection, absolutely love that. I think it's so
Yeah.
important to the integrity of the show.
I think that is a really good thing that they've done.
And if they
Even though
hadn't,
it's like minuscule, like you don't necessarily are like, oh, this is in your face, they do this, but
yeah,
it's
yeah,
just,
it's
you
they're
know,
not saying like, hey, look it, we're going to rescue SG-13 because we
right.
care about all of our team members. But you see them rushing out the same way everyone
Mhm.
does for them, and I think it's really important. The other one, the other trivia, um, which I don't know if it's relevant in this because I didn't notice it. Um, but they filmed most of the episode. And then when they decided to make it a two-parter and they had to add some stuff, which is why I think it might only be relevant next week. They had to add some stuff. They had to do some reshoots to like add things to extend the episode into
Mhm.
two episodes. And between the time that they did the main block of the rest of their episodes and the time that they did these reshoots, Richard Dean Anderson got a very aggressively drastic haircut. And when he came to set, Robert T. Cooper was like, dude, we're we're filming reshoots. And he just goes, oh well. So there are some scenes in the next episode where Jack's hair is going to be ridiculously not the same length that it was in this
That's
episode.
so
But they're
funny.
interspersed as reshoots. So that's why I don't
Right.
know if it happened in this episode and I just didn't notice it or if it's only in next episode. So I put
That's
the
so
trivia
funny.
in now just in case because
Just
it's
in case.
funny.
Did they not put like a wig on him or something?
Nope. There's just randomly scenes where his hair is really short.
That's so funny. Oh, that'd be a really funny thing if they like commented on it though, like in the episode. Like I'm guessing they don't because you didn't like recognize it for the trivia,
Yeah.
but like that would be really funny if he
Yeah.
like said something about his haircut in like one of the filming scenes where he's running away.
Yeah. I mean, I will say, next week's episode is big enough that if they do say it, I wouldn't remember it.
Terrifying. I have to watch it like at midnight on Sunday so I don't forget it exists.
Yeah,
Because I will
it's
say I forgot some of these scenes because I watched this like Thursday.
yeah, no, next week's episode is very big.
Eek.
Yeah. Do you have any thoughts or theories or
I the whole time I was watching this episode, it felt kind of like we were doing like a 200 because of like we had that
yeah,
big film shoot from the 100th episode or
yeah.
whatever. It had that kind of like that same kind of it wasn't as goofy, like there were actual
Right.
things happening, but it was just funny and it had kind of like similar vibes to me.
Well, I will
Um,
say it does, but it's also I forgot. I knew about the documentary, but I forgot the why of the documentary and the stuff about the president um being almost out of office because that is a very big thing that continues through the rest of the thread of the season and into the beginning of Atlantis. Um
okay.
yeah, so it's a little goofy, but the heart of it is actually a very important like plot point for the whole rest of the episode because the change of the president and the potential of Stargate going public is a big looming question for the rest of the season.
Interesting. Interesting. That'll be fun. Yeah, I mean, I really liked it. I thought it was funny. I couldn't get enough of Jack. Um, he just cracked me up the whole time. But I don't know, like, I will say because it had so much humor and so much like comedy in it, I feel like I missed some of the like bigger stuff. Like I didn't notice all of the like talk about the presidential stuff. I mean, I caught the stuff with Kinsey, and then
Yeah.
like I kind of just like glanced over the part that like their signal got sent out to someone. Like I saw it, but then I just like was going
Yeah.
back to laughing at something else. And so I feel like I missed some of the things. And I don't know if they were like trying to do it that way. So it was like a bigger shock later. Like they were giving you like Easter eggs, or if I just missed it because I was distracted by the other things.
I think you just missed it because it is only one scene where they really have like that Danielle and Sam have that really
Mhm.
deep conversation about it. But it's not really buried. So I think you might have just
No, that's very
not
possible.
registered it.
Yeah. Um, yeah, but otherwise I really liked it. I'm excited for the rest of the season. A little nervous.
I would be.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Can't wait to add to my anxieties.
Yeah, there's 5 episodes left. And
And then do we start Atlantis or is it interspersed now? Like,
so when we start season 8, the SG-1 season 8 and Atlanta season 1 have connected 2-part finale, like premieres. So we're gonna watch SG-1 801, 802, Atlantis 101, 102, and that's all one story.
mm,
Yeah. Yeah, so
so close. Exciting.
we are getting close to the end of this, so I should just warn everyone. I will post it on Instagram, but we are following the official Gate World recommended episode order that does not do entire seasons at a time. It does episodes based on how they fit together. So we will be going back and forth between Atlantis and SG-1 every week, which will mean that I will have to make sure Courtney knows actually what we're watching every week.
I was just about to say we have to talk about a schedule
Yeah.
so that I
Um,
know what it
yes.
is.
So it'll be a little tricky. We will make sure Courtney watches the correct episode. Um, but
Learned a new one. Let's see if it works.
oh,
Okay,
mine,
you
I
just
still
keep
can't get
going.
the thumbs up to work, but I do have the raise my hand works a lot and on accident sometimes. So
Everything I do works on accident. I
yeah.
haven't done it once, I think, on purpose yet.
But before we wrap this up, who do you want to punch?
Nailed it. Nailed it. That's all I wanted. That's all I wanted to happen.
Oh
If you
man.
do a thumbs down, it like storms on you. Um,
If you have a MacBook, because I still can't get it to work on my computer phone.
yeah, yeah. Um, I want to punch the Emmett.
See, I don't.
I mean, I love him so much, but like he's being a real bother to the SG team.
Yeah, yeah.
You know
Um,
what? No, I want to punch Kinsey because I forgot again that he was. I keep removing him from my brain. God, I
yeah.
hate him so much. I want to punch Kinsey.
Kenzie's the fucking worst. I want to punch. This is gonna be so fucking out of pocket. I want to punch the gate technician who sat behind Walter during
The
his
woman.
interview and gave him side eye the entire time.
That is so fair.
She had the dirtiest look on her face every time he spoke.
I died watching.
Every time he said something, and she just said,
I
I was like, girl.
give it a rest. Give it a rest. Oh god, that was funny. Yeah.
Um, so who is your MVP?
Um, I feel like I have a lot of them, but I think I'm gonna go with Jack just because I mean he's Jack and he just fight the
Yeah,
system.
that's fair. I'm gonna go with Hammond, specifically for reading the letter from the Pentagon out loud and saying, "Well, I don't see a problem."
The whole team was like I couldn't get
So
enough of
good,
them.
so good. Oh, and then there was Janet in her interview.
I
Oh,
know, sweet baby angel.
yeah.
Hope she finds love.
Honestly, even her and Emmett would be so cute.
It would
Should
be, and then maybe he'd like chill out.
yeah. But it was just like the most adorable flirting ever when she was like, "Are you flirting with me?" And he was like,
I
"You
know.
know how you just talked about being really cool under pressure? I am in fact not." And I was like, "I relate to this."
Mhm, mhm.
Um, all right, well, yeah, like I said, next week is gonna be a big one. So get ready for that. And on Thursday we will be chugging along with Clarice.
I'm sure
So
it'll be great.
it'll be
Stay
great.
tuned.
So if you have thoughts, feelings, warnings, you can email us. To be fair, by the time this airs, you will have already seen and recorded the podcast for next week, so the warnings won't actually.
Will I have? Because don't we record in 2 weeks on that one?
No,
Are we doing one episode next week or two?
two, not
Okay.
three. Yeah,
Two,
wait,
not three. Okay.
yeah, um, yeah. Plus, this wouldn't go up till the end of May anyway. Um, yeah, so if you have thoughts, theories, feelings, warnings, please email us at deathandaliens@gmail.com. If you have, or you can also find us on any of the social media at Death and Aliens. You can follow me. I forgot that I have to do that. You can follow me at EMKAY_superstar.
And you can find me at CE Cloud 13. I'd love to be celebrating right now.
It's not gonna work just because you wanted to.
Come at
Okay,
me.
bye.
Goodbye.